Hi, I'm Mike Torsha. Welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a special guest today, King Bless. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And man, you have some heck of a story.
Yeah.
College ball player, Navy SEAL, Bitcoin, model, artist. Like, geez, how do you do it all?
Well, first I got to correct. I was not a Navy SEAL. I was in the Navy SEAL program. So I was in
Okay.
BUDS for 2 classes but didn't finish. They take a person. They're like, oh, you ain't a SEAL. I'm like, I'm not trying to false claim nothing but who I am in this world. Okay. So I ended up doing PR for the military, becoming a public affairs officer. But I was in BUDS for like a year. And I did 2 classes. I was going to my 3rd class, and that's why I was like, nah, man. I tried. It wasn't for me.
You didn't really have a boot camp, none of that Navy SEAL shit that you have to crawl on the ground.
I did all that.
Oh, you did all that shit?
Well, it's a whole nother story. I ended up having, even as a PR officer, I ended up having to go, because I was in BUDS, the way the military does it, taxpayer money was spent to train you in something. So no matter how far you get away from it, if it's in your record, we're going to put you back. So long story short, I ended up going to SEER school anyway, expeditionary combat school anyway. You shoot all day. I had learned, because when I got deployed on my 2nd deployment, it was I was more on the ground, so they're like, just in case something happens. So I got trained and everything. I was prepped for it. Just didn't turn out that way, thankfully.
But I guess all that discipline helped apply towards where you are today, right?
Listen, it helped a lot. It helped me learn how to speak better, communicate better. Like I said,
education too.
Education,
right?
Yeah. I went to North Carolina State, football scholarship there. Graduated criminology, political science degree. Went back to Detroit. I'm originally from Detroit. Went back to Detroit after I graduated from college. The ideal was to reach back to the inner city youth. I'm kind of from that. Come from a statistical household, single parent, blah, 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 divorce, violence, all that good stuff. So my whole thing was going back to try to reach out. So I went back, worked with adjudicated youth, coached the same football team I used to coach for. Actually, one of the coaches who coached me. It was beautiful before he died. But I had a chance to go back and kind of reach back out. And then around the same time, the military was recruiting for the Navy SEAL program, and they had already been in talks with me. So I ended up going that route, training to go to the military after that.
That's fantastic. So now, how did you transition into the modeling, the acting, and how did all that come back?
So crazy. I'm on my 2nd deployment, 2016, and a buddy of mine, he's another officer, he's a lieutenant. Shout out to Adam out to Swansea. He's a model and actor out here as well. Another fellow officer, he was coming to LA like 2-3 times a week or whatever, and he was driving not Uber, what's the other ones, like a Lyft or something, right? And I was like, I pulled him to the side, I was like, bro, is everything good? Like, why are you driving Lyft? Like, what is it? Like, we make pretty decent money. Like, he's been deployed too. I know he has like a couple of houses. So I'm like, bro, what's going on? You need to talk to me. You need help? And he like, no, man, I just drive Lyft because it allows me to go to LA and I don't have to use my car and gas. I can just use them, pick up 2 or 3 rides, and it's paid for. I'm like, where are you going to LA, man? He's like, I'm modeling, I'm acting. So I always been thought about that. Like, how do you get into it? So he just gave me the rundown, how to get a portfolio started, how to get into the business. And I was like, hey, I'll come try it out. If it works, I stay. If it doesn't work, I'm out of here. It's been about 6 years, some change. I'm doing commercials every other month, every month. Everything's going well, so I'm happy to be here.
That's a beautiful story, man. Yeah. So now, like, what is your ultimate goal? I see you do a lot of Bitcoin, but is that your main gig, or is there other things?
So Bitcoin, I got into that early. Again, got into that in 2016 through a college buddy of mine, Isaiah Zay Jackson. He was big on Bitcoin. I've always been interested in technology. I had a computer in like 97. In Detroit, basically, I was entered into a lottery to go to a charter school. So it was the first time I really got out of the, I was still in the inner city, but I wasn't like at this, the problem schools anymore. I finally was like a nice school. You wear uniforms. And I got my first computer when I was like 6 or 7 years old. This is in the 90s. Like 97, I get a computer. You're talking about dial-up internet, all that other stuff. But I had already been like full deep into technology, LimeWire, Napster, doing all that crazy stuff back then as a child. So fast forward full circle, I wanted to learn about Bitcoin on my first deployment in 2014, because you write a list of everything you want to learn about. You got time. And I felt uncomfortable looking it up on my computer on deployment. I'm an officer. They're talking about it's for criminals. You're not supposed to be doing it. I'm like, oh man, I ain't about to risk my commission for some technology right now.
Yeah.
But he put up a post on Facebook where he's talking about it in 2016. He said, I'm never talking about this again. No one listens to me. I called him. I was like, oh, you the same guy? Yeah, you're the same guy? Yeah. I'm like, tell me about it. So he tells me about it. I'm like, well, I was already planning in 2016 to get out the military after my 2nd deployment. I knew nothing about Wall Street until The Wolf of Wall Street came out. And I was like, if I would have known about the financial Wall Street, I could have did great doing an MBA. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to get an MBA, but I want to figure out how to go to Wall Street and do some type of business. I got savings going. did 2 back-to-back deployments. I was deployed 2014, 15, and 16. So I got a little money to play with. I'm like, I want to get into that like stock market game. At the time in 2016, you needed to have an account of at least $25,000 to day trade, more than 5 trades a month. It was all these different rules. You had to buy an entire stock. That has now changed because of things like Bitcoin and crypto, but there weren't any barriers to entry to that. So I'll say, hey, I took my money. Bitcoin is like $330 at the time, jumped into that. It worked out. We built a business around that. So to me, that's important because it gives me autonomy to where no one can confiscate my value or money. So that's a big part of my life, is to be autonomous. That's why I wanted to go to the military, to learn things, like to learn how to strategically do things on a broad level, not just on a micro level, not just on a local and state level. Again, my background, one of my degrees is political science. Like some of the things I have planned, I've been planning since I was like 12 years old, literally. And I'm just checking boxes as I go. So my whole thing in life is to be fully autonomous, to not need help and have to reach out, but to build my own value and have others build their value so we can just build up our communities.
You know, I like how you plan things because, you know, like Thomas Jefferson, he used time blocking and not just a tech list, but put down exactly what you need to get done at what time during the day. You just did your forecasting years in advance, but that's how I think you get things done, is when you actually block out the time and you understand or give yourself deadlines to achieve those goals. But it seems like you really put this together, right, man? I mean, especially from where you came from to where you are now. So now, is Bitcoin something that is your full-time job, or you're kind of blending that with all the other things that you're doing?
So as far as like I'll just go off income. Crypto and Bitcoin is probably like, I would say 60 to 70. It changes. It's like when the market's going great, it could be like 70 to 80% of my income. And like there's a strike or COVID going on, right? On the flip side, though, if the market is crap in Bitcoin, 2018, we had a bear market. And then, you know, I got signed to the agency that year here. So like acting and modeling was taking off. So usually it's like 60 to 70% Bitcoin because the margins are just higher in crypto. Like if I were to today stay home and trade all day, I'll make money, or I have a business around it. So if I were to actually work on that, I'll make capital. But on the flip side, it's been crazy here in Hollywood this past couple of years for me, where it's like, I mean, you name a company, I've shot with them in the last 12 months. Like literally, you name the company and I could just say yes or no.
That's
like
fantastic.
The majority would be yes. So it's like, that's finally starting to come. And I knew that was going to take time. It's career change. I moved here when I was like 30. So I was in the military, career change for the 3rd time. Thought I was going to play football one day. Then did the military. Now I'm here acting and modeling. The Bitcoin crypto thing is just more, it's like a part of me. It's not even, I don't even look at it as a business. It's like, this gives me autonomy. No one can take my money, period. So it's a part of me.
But now, you know, what I've found is, even though there's so much great opportunity, especially now, it's skyrocketed now.
Yeah.
Okay. I have heard horror stories recently. A gentleman had done some kind of transaction with someone in London. He got $800,000 worth of the crypto, and he didn't realize that you can fake the crypto. So what he did was he advanced the guy $100,000 because he knew he was going to sell it. Well, it wasn't real crypto. It wasn't, I guess, verified. And he lost the $800,000, and he's stuck with this useless crypto. And I've heard this over and over and over. And it's just like, I think that's what scares a lot of people about crypto, because, you know, they'll say, I think, send something to my wallet, and then if they can steal everything out of your wallet. So you got to be careful who you're dealing with. And to me, I always thought it's like the Wild Wild West. It's got to take a long shot. But I guess if you're working within a certain circle or groups, you could probably be safe. But isn't there still that element that there could be some kind of fraud?
So, okay, crypto is a broad term because it deals with every digital asset out there for the most part, who are naming themselves crypto. And this is like, so here's the deal. A lot of people, is it the Wild West? Yes, even though it is really getting cleaned up a lot, and there's a lot of self-regulation. I do like a daily show. As of late, it's been like 3 times a week. But my business partner and I, we do a daily podcast. And the reason why I even started to begin with is because we had a lot of clients we were consulting, and we were literally on the phone 15 hours a piece each, answering the same questions. Like a news article come up, like somebody sent 800,000 and they was missing. What's going on? So we have a daily show to cover these type of stories, to say, hey, this is what happened. This is how we analyze the market. This is so people won't have to worry on a day-to-day. But the bottom line is, if you're coming into Bitcoin and the crypto space to get rich quick, which the majority are, you're going to get what we call tuition. You're going to get charged tuition. Everyone has had to go through it. Cryptocurrency, cryptography is a very difficult subject matter to learn. So for everyone to just think, oh, I'm just going to hop in, I'm going to make money, and all these people have been all these years, whatever, it's like, no, that's your fault. Like, you didn't come in trying to learn the market. You came in trying to make money off the market. That's not the same thing. So I encourage everyone to read the Bitcoin white papers. First paragraph is literally a few sentences long. It talks about what Bitcoin is, the purpose of it. So many people are in crypto without reading that. The Bitcoin white paper in total is 9 pages, the ninth being references. So it's really 8 pages. But the first paragraph literally says it's a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, blah, 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 where you don't need a third party to say, a bank or government to say you're allowed to use it. So in the simplest terms, the way I compare Bitcoin is it's free software. If you were to walk in a room, there's a human to turn on the light switch. That is what we have for banking. Someone walks in, they say, you're allowed to bank, you're not allowed to bank. You're Iraq? No. You're homeless? No. You're a king? You're Mike? Yes, yes. All right. So it's a human that when you walk in a room says you are or not allowed to bank. All Bitcoin specific, cryptos are different because each crypto can have a different project and different people behind it. But Bitcoin, which anyone can just download the software, they're saying is no matter who walks into this room, the light switch is going to come on. No matter who walks in, you're going to have a bank account. Now, what you do with it, right, wrong, or ugly, good old-fashioned police work can find you and we can figure that out. But as far as everyone having software access to this bank account, anyone does. That's all it literally does. But that's why everybody's pissed off, because now you have private banks saying, wait, what the F? Like, if y'all got private access to, wait, how do we make our fees? And governments, of course, are saying the last thing we want is for a multi-billionaire or a group of kids who together have billions of dollars to just say, you know what? We're going to buck the system. We don't want to do it your way. We're not going to pay taxes if we don't want to. And the only way for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish is to physically do it at this point now. You will have to use violence because from a financial standpoint, economic standpoint, you cannot do anything because there's no way to seize it.
Well, I noticed that a lot of people are using Bitcoin because especially when they have to move large amounts of money to Europe. Now, I've done a lot of business in Europe. We did very, very large wires. It takes a long time. You don't get it right away. And also, too, like say, for instance, have these guys that have bought diamonds, and then they try to bring the diamonds over. But if they find out you're bringing massive amounts of diamonds, they're going to confiscate you. You're going to, for all these fines, you're going to get a lot of trouble. Or if you have to bring in an investment to someone, how do you get the money to them? Maybe the person doesn't have a bank account, So I think for transferring funds, it's a brilliant way to do it seamlessly because you can have that wallet and have $20 million in that wallet and then go to your location and then, cash out, the money. So I think for that, it's great. But to me, if I was willing to do like you're doing, spend the time, which would be time consuming, I would do it. I'd rather do what I do best. But I got to tell you something. You're right. Too many people get into it for the wrong reason. And that's when they get stung. But
we all have though. Like I've been stung too, and I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's been once people have called me on, man, you got to get in this. I'm like, bro, this is an obvious scam. And I do it live sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get into it because of my community's getting into it. Like they've kept me alive in LA. All right, whatever. We're going to play this game, we'll play it. I'll get in some of these projects with them. And when they blow up, I'm like, I try to tell everybody, like you have me on record saying it. I got in with you all and here we all are looking stupid. Now, can we move forward and figure this out together? So I get the problem is it's not even people. It's or like just the regular person coming in. It's the people who have learned to cheat others. Low integrity people. It's a Netflix one that just came out, BitCon. And the guy is literally laughing and smiling and bragging about how dumb people were to buy into his fake crypto that they literally copied and pasted in another project. That's what most of these projects do. But then again, people don't read the papers and all that stuff. So, this guy's just on Netflix laughing about it. And he didn't get no jail time. So
wow.
It's just like those to me are the people that's making this worse because you're taking advantage of good people who are trying to believe you and your project. Because there are a lot of decent projects out there and good projects out there. They are hoping to solve utility. Some are trying to do the whole AR and VR thing to partner with the Apple glasses and Meta and stuff like that. So there's solid projects out there. It's just that there are so many. Like here's the good projects don't talk and brag because they're thinking they're coders. They're developers. They're thinking you can read the code and understand this is a solid project, but that's not what we do normally. The bad projects understand that people aren't reading the code, but they're like, oh, as long as we can market this thing, we get some volume, we'll make it roll. So that's what they're doing. They're the loud ones. Hey, come look at us, and everybody's doing it. But in reality, it's like the loudest one is like, man, they're terrible. That's why they're loud, because they're terrible.
Right. The sound, the sizzle.
Right.
So now to segue back to fitness, what is your regime? Like, what is your program? Like when you get up in the morning, do you fast and do cardio? Do you have breakfast, go work out? Weights, yoga, what is your formula?
So I've been very blessed. Like I'm out of shape right now, honestly. I've been very blessed to where when I take fitness serious, I think it's just muscle memory. I played football my entire life, and then college, and then military. So, but right now, my regimen to just stay in regular shape, I say fighting shape, morning, evening routine. I think everyone should do this to keep your cardio up and everything. It's just sets of hundreds, basically. I won't say sets of 100 reps. You can do it how you want. One set of 100, 5 of 20, 4 of 25, whatever. But I like to do burpees, 100 burpees, usually 5 to 10 sets of pull-ups to go along with every set of burpees. So if I'm only doing 5 of 20, then the 5 or 10 pull-ups after that, 100 sit-ups, 100 air squats. Sometimes I will not do it if the burpee session is crazy. And then 100 arm circles, 4 counts front and back. So
now this is all at home or at the gym?
No, this is at home. This is just morning and nights.
Okay.
So you wake up, you do 100 burpees. Again, you don't have to do it all together. Do either 100 burpees or 100 push-ups and 100 pull-ups with air squats, jumping jacks, arm circles. Like that's just like 15 minutes.
So you like the body weight training?
Right, body weight, morning and night. But then I go to the gym in the middle of the day. And then the gym is when I get the bench press, squats. I don't do clean. I hate cleans. I did it all through college. They started me.
Too.
Yeah, I don't like cleans. But it's mostly body weight. I learned something when I joined the military called SEAL Fit. Are you familiar with it?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, so I like SEAL Fit. CrossFit, but with heavy weights. You know, exactly. Boom. Yeah, nonstop until you're ready to die.
There's that one SEAL guy that's super on YouTube. He's a freak.
Probably. I know you're talking about, yeah.
Right, he's a freak. I mean, the kind of shit he does with the weights.
Yeah.
I mean, the conditioning, the flexibility, and stamina, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably the toughest division of the military is the Navy SEALs.
I wish I would have went through that training before I played college football. Like, oh my.
Oh, you would have been a beast, right?
Well, college football, I used to think that was workouts was crazy. What? Listen, I remember in college football, like, this is most college players. Your coach, if you do pull-ups, they're going to actually do like 3 sets of 12, right? Yeah. Like, military, that's not even, that's nothing. Like,
that's the warm-up, right?
That's the warm-up. So, and not only that, it's, especially special forces, it's not about how much you can. So if you can bench press 225, 300, 400, whatever, cool. They're going to be like, now do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Because that's what it's about. It's not about, I'm just strong for this 1 or 2 things. It's like, no, it's about muscle endurance, because in real life on deployment, you're not going to just do something one time, bro. You might have to climb 10 walls to get home. Like, you know what I mean?
You know, it's so funny. I was asked to go to West Point to help with the conditioning for the athletes, because the grunts, the new guys, they were really in really bad shape. They were in poor condition. So the strength coach asked me to come up to give some advice. So he shows me all the men lined up and had all the gear on, helmet, the rifle, the backpack, everything. And they go up to the 15-foot diving board, and they'd have to jump off to the deep end, and they'd have to walk them up, out. Well, he said total weight with everything was about 150 pounds. You know how many people we had to pull out of the water?
They're going straight down. Yeah.
They went straight down. They were drowning. So we had to do all this conditioning, but like you said, endurance conditioning with heavy weights, because they weren't able to function. When they were in that pool with all the gear, they were like, Dad, he goes, you know, if you get deployed and you're in the water, you got to figure out how you're going to do it, because nobody's going to help fish you out of the water.
Yeah.
So we had to do that training. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Because
you should have seen these guys. They were in horrible shape.
I redlined in Buzz before. I don't know if that's basically when you drown, they got to bring you back, slap me up a couple times. You about to get me fired, you mother effer. They tell me to get back. Yeah, that's happened. As soon as it happens, and you, like, literally, I was out of it. Like, I could see it happening. I couldn't come back. I was just like fading. They brought me back or whatever. And the way it works is like, you good? You good? Get back in there. Let's go. It's no break. It's like,
yeah, but that's what was crazy was after we pulled the guy out of the water, he's like, no, get back up there again.
Go right back.
Go back up there.
Go right back. So I will say with all my exercise, I want to add this too. I superset everything. There is no exercise I don't do without supersetting, because now it's just built into me. I won't turn into a full circuit. But for example, if I'm doing bench press, Pull-ups is coming with it, straight up. If I'm doing bench, I'm doing pull-ups in between the set, usually doing sit-ups or lunges as well, at least 3 exercises per exercise. In addition to that, even when I'm trying to max out, I'll do a pyramid to max out. So I'll pyramid it up. I usually go 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1 till I get to where I need to be. And then I'll come right back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then call it a day. So yeah, I don't just lift just to, like I said, the threes. I remember the traditional lifting in college, 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 6 or whatever, like 4 sets of 6 going for building muscle mass and all that. But in real life, for what I want to be as far as acting, and then even in defense and stuff, as far as if I get in a fight or whatever, or worse, it's like, hey, I'm ready to do this all day until one of us is dead. Like, it's not going to be a lucky hit or something.
Yeah.
Like, we about to go at it for all day.
Yeah, you don't want to be all show, no go.
So.
Yeah. No, I dig it. But when I used to train with Arnold, when I was training for competition, we would do chest and back superset. It was a beautiful superset.
Yeah.
And sometimes we would tri-set it, superset it, mix it up, giant set it. But it's a great combination. I love doing a chest and a back exercise. It complements. It really does. It helps open it up after you do the heavy chest. So that was one of my favorites, was doing that type of training. But you brought up 100 reps. I remember one time, as just a kid, I was 15 years old out here, and it was Andreas Conling, who was Mr. International in Arnold. And he goes, come on, let's do legs. And then Arnold turns to Andreas and goes, 100 reps. So we did 5 sets of leg extension, 100 reps. 5 sets of leg presses, 100 reps each. 5 sets of squats, 100 reps. And 5 sets of leg curls, 100 reps.
The same day too? Like same workout?
Day.
Oh my goodness.
So now I wasn't used to it. I was used to like 8, 10, 12, those 100 reps. And after I was done, I was like a fish out of water. I was like spasming. And I said, you guys go without me. I couldn't walk. I was so sore, I couldn't walk for 3 days. I was in agony, because you know what it's like when you do 100 reps, that burning, sick feeling. But I got to tell you something. It did something to me. Ever since then I would have my 100 rep day. But it was mind-blowing how from doing the squats especially, every part of my body was stimulated.
Yeah.
So I realized that 100 rep can really affect you, but it does more than your adrenal glands. Everything gets affected.
And I like full body workouts too. Again, in college, I was used to only doing like certain parts. Like on the football program, you do certain parts a day. Upper one day, lower one day, back, arm, whatever. I won't speak for the whole military. I can like for BUS and special forces, they do whole body every day. It's like you're going to work out there. It's like, because they're like in deployment, you don't get to choose. But so even to today, sometimes I work out specifics, but kind of like you said, I still try to focus on whole body, so we're getting that whole body feeling. You're right, I love it. It's just like mentally it changes you. Like I said, I wish I would have did it first before college, because I never forget 3 sets of 12 pull-ups used to be like a thing for me. I never forget it. And it's just like, and then it's like, oh, I gotta go bench. Like I was in shape, I was strong, pound for pound, all that. But it's like, I used to almost think like, I really don't want to do this like that. Like, it's not that fun, or like, oh man, this is gonna make me throw up almost. Whereas now it's just like, oh my God, I'm really bouncing through exercise. How is this possible?
But it's so funny, like the old school training. Like, for instance, what we did was we had a certain period where we did the Roman chair sit-up. So instead of doing all these ab exercises, plank and this one and that one, Arnold would say 1,000 reps. So you had to do 1,000 reps on the Roman chair. Now, let me tell you something. I did like 100 and something, and I was like, I couldn't do it. And it's amazing, because it's a condition that you have to build up to. And he made me, said, look, you got to do 1,000 reps.
And you just sit there and do it, right?
I had to do it.
Yeah.
I had to do it, but I got to tell you something. The sides, every part of my abdominals, I could feel it. He goes, now see how you feel? And that's what I do. And then of course when I won my championships, I always won best abdominals, best leg, best chest. But I had it in my head, this man was filling me full of wisdom and knowledge, So that's why whenever I do my trainings, I was always switching it up. I was always doing giant sets and tri-sets and supersets, because that's how we train.
Yeah.
And if you notice, the old school bodybuilders, had the hardest, most ripped bodies. We never did cardio.
Yeah.
Never did cardio.
That is true.
Okay?
That's true.
And we were like granite, shredded to the bone. Not one day of cardio. But we were moving so hard, so fast, superset. We're burning it.
Burn it.
We had that endurance training like you did in the Navy SEALs, right? So I tell people, do some trisets, supersets, bro. Keep going. Because if you spend so much time on most of the time people go on the treadmill, if you could talk on the phone or text, go home. I tap people on the shoulder, listen, either pick up the pace or go home. And then I walk away.
Yeah, my heart rate isn't kicking. I'm like, yeah,
what are you doing
wasting
it for?
time. We're wasting.
You could go home. You could talk to them in the car.
Yep.
But utilize your time in the gym the most efficiently. So I just once in a while kind of prod people a little bit. Like, pick it up or go home. What do you mean? I go, well, you're not going to burn any calories. You're not going to burn that fat. So either pick up that pace. Come on, let's go, or go home. You could use this extra 45 minutes to do something else, right? And then they laugh. But I got to tell you what, when I walk up on the second floor at the Equinox over here in Sepulveda, everybody starts going faster.
They see you, they're like, oh no, I ain't about to.
Then I know as I go down the stairs and I watch them go back on their phone.
Let me ask you, what are your thoughts on Olympic lifting? Like the Olympic lift. So in college, that's where our coach really focused on. A lot of players didn't like it because we went to a bowl game in Alabama. We played against Rutgers. So full disclosure, our quarterback when I was in there was Russell Wilson. He was our quarterback at the time in school, whatever. So we played against Rutgers and all this other stuff, and those guys were just looking shred. We had you do a whole week of activities. Like, go to comedy show. We did a bowling alley one day. We were at the bowling alley, So now we're like real. This is like the first time we were super close to each other. It was like bowling alley and it was a comedy show. And it's like the first guys like size each other up. And half our team's like, dude, this motherfuckers is ripped over here. So a lot of dudes they already been complaining. They're like, with Olympic lifting, it doesn't really get you ripped as much as it does get you strength, core training. Slow bench press, slow squats, cleans, all the way technique. So what are your thoughts on that? Because you were talking about how ripped you guys were. So.
Well, that was my foundation. I walked into the YMCA at 14 years old. I trained with power lifters and Olympic lifters, which was totally different.
Right.
Olympic lifters, you can get this guy that doesn't even have this big body. He can flip that shit right up in the air. So a lot of that was technique. The power lift, that was raw strength and power. So I trained both. I had my days I did Olympic training, all the basic Olympic, snatch, clean and jerk, all those movements. Then I did the power movement. Down, let it sink. Not this stuff bouncing around.
I don't like
let
the
me tell you
bounce. Come
something,
on, the swinging and the bouncing.
Let me tell you something. My best was 505 for a triple. But let me tell you something. Oof. I come down, I feel it sink. I hear the plate's clanging, and I see the bar bend. Bang. Bring it down again. Well, I get high from it. Bang. And the third one, bang. But I remember how the bar would bend, and even though I have the collars on, you hear that slight clanging. That got me high, man.
I like it too.
That got me high.
I like bringing it clink. I know you're talking about.
No, you got to let it sink down in the pec. No, I see these guys bouncing, and then they have that band they put around so it springs back. Bro, you ain't using all your muscles. You're doing momentum.
That's what
right?
I love it.
But I tell you, the shrugs, the squats. Bill Pearl was one of the most famous bodybuilders in the world, Mr. Universe, Mr. America. He said, Mike, if you could do only one exercise, squat, stimulates the heart, the lungs, every muscle in your body. So I was a squatter. I always squatted. To this day, I still squat.
Yeah. I'm a four plate squat guy. So I don't even know what that is anymore. I'm not there anymore. I used to be.
Well, the 4 plates, it's a 405.
405, that's what I thought. And then 305 bench at my maxes for both. But I used to love squatting. I'm a small guy on the football field, but I'm fast. So legs, core strength, if I can catch you, I'm catching you. So I love squats. He's right about that.
But the key thing was I always believed in high rep squats. I would always work up to 20 reps.
Yep, 20. That's the magic number.
And my glutes be burning, my quads. I mean, everything be on fire. But when you put the weight back, that feeling of euphoric feeling, people don't understand. That's how you burn fat. Fuck the treadmill and elliptical. Get in there and squat your ass off. Go high reps. Move fast, and you'll get rock hard. You'll get ripped. don't rely on all that cardio because it's going to lower your testosterone. It's going to raise your estrogen. All the cortisol levels are going to go. You're going to get like mush. Because when we would hug each other in the gym, it was like hugging a cinder block wall, right? But today I see these guys, they're like mush. They inject the shit to swell it up. It's just terrible.
So
I don't want shortcuts.
I fully agree with everything you say. I love it too. But here's a problem I've had, and I'm trying to find this balance still. I want to know how it's affected you. When I start going crazy, this is a real reason why I really did not in the gym as often as I should be. When my testosterone started, you're right. I agree with everything you said. When I'm in the gym, I can feel it. I start getting crazy, man. When I'm strong all the time and just, I've been in the gym too much, I have a short fuse and short patience, and I'd rather just be doughy sometimes. I'm like, at least I can be relaxed. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you ever, you get what I'm saying?
That was one of the things for me. I just loved that aggression.
Yeah.
I drive my Ducati motorcycle like I stole the fucking bike. That's me. That's just me. But I do things later on to unwind, to relax. So I have my moments, but then I know I got to decompress because I can't go 100 miles an hour like that.
Right.
I'm just going to burn out. So I have my moments when I chill. So maybe I take my dogs for a run, my pit bulls to the park, or I do something fun.
Right.
I can go fishing. I do fishing. I go bowling. I shoot pool. I do all these other things that help ground me. But I live off that high.
I like it.
I just like that shit because when I go in the gym, I ain't gonna talk to you. You can't talk to me.
I don't like being friendly, talking in the gym. I just want to get my work in. I just want to work.
You may think I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's okay. Stay the fuck away from me because I don't want to talk to you.
I'm not even used to public gyms until, like I said, I didn't start going to public gyms until like 29, 30. I was in the military gyms or football gyms before that, like locker rooms. So I had never been around regular human civilians just working out, and I don't like
right?
it.
It's so funny. This young guy comes up to me. He actually was a Marine, and he said, man, you look powerful. I noticed you just go through the gym. This is when I was leaving, and because he was a Marine, I took my time to talk to him. Mm-hmm. And he goes, what do you listen to when you're training? Because you're so focused. It's not what I'm listening to. It's what I'm not listening to. I'm not listening to people bullshit and gossip and all that other shit. Sometimes I don't even have the music on. I just want people to stay away from me. I want to focus what I'm there for. I'm on a mission, and I train hard and fast. I'm lucky if I do 20 seconds rest in between sets. That's how fast I move.
Nice.
And people know not to talk to me. Seriously,
you got some muscle endurance.
No, but I'm so used to it. After training 5 sets, 100.
Yeah.
What's a superset of tricep? That's me being lazy.
Right.
But I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I have no interest to have a conversation. Well, if I see a beautiful woman, I can admire, but then I get back to work. I'm not going to gawk. I'm not going to be weirdo, but I can admire a beautiful woman's body, but I'm still that machine that's focusing on training and get out.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about because sometimes that aggression's so hard. Sometimes get in my car, I'm driving like a maniac.
Did you get one? In Los Angeles, we'll do it to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, y'all crazy out here sometimes. Like, woo, okay, all good. I'll be trying to calm down. Really quick, I want to get back to something you had mentioned. I didn't want to forget about it. You had also asked me about my diet earlier.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So mine, I know, are skewed to me individually for the most part because my metabolism is super fast. But I never really had a specific diet. But at the same time, my diet has always been good. So my stepfather growing up never ate red meat, beef, pork, anything like that. All we ate was fish, turkey, bacon, and chicken type of deal. So it's like I grew up eating like that anyway until I was 18. I didn't really eat pork bacon until I was 18. I went to college. Same thing with breads and stuff. Like, again, I was an athlete growing up, so the doctors are going to already. I got injured in like 8th grade on track injury before football season. I ended up doing physical therapy, and they're like, telling me about eating whole grain bread and fruits and the veggies. So it's like I eat like that already, and I don't like a lot of soft stuff or sweets. So I don't like icings. I don't like jellos. I don't like, only desserts I really like are like cookies and like apple pie. Like really, that's it. So I already don't like a lot of the mainstream things that kind of jack people's bodies up to begin with. But with that being said, I don't have like a cap or any type of I just go crazy because I know like my gym workout, I'm not, an hour isn't enough. It usually is, unless it's 2 a day. Like it's usually like an hour and a half, 2 hours of straight working out. And then I'm doing the morning and night burpees to go along with it. So it's like I'm eating and drinking whatever for the most part. But what are your thoughts on it? From somebody who's seen different types of lifts and different types of diets and stuff, what are your thoughts as far as to maintain or get to that optimal standing?
Well, first of all, stay away from anything that's processed. Be very careful to make sure you don't have taken food that's canned or boxed. All the processing is really toxic on the body, but I really focus on organic food because you don't realize that, they have these sprays and you can wash the fruit. It ain't gonna make a difference. It's saturated into the skin of the fruit and the vegetable. So I eat organic because there are hormones even in the beef. So you got to watch because it will affect your body chemistry. All of a sudden you'll be softening up. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And it's because you're taking in chemicals. So I do believe in organic, and that's why. I asked this woman one time, I was in Whole Foods, and I said, you know what organic means? She goes, yeah, it's more expensive. I said, no, it's not full of pesticides.
Right, no pesticides.
So, but the thing is, it's balanced meals, and the great thing is sugar is our enemy. That's the cause of heart attack. It's not the fat that's giving you a heart attack. All the cardiologists that I've spoken with and that I've worked with over the years, that the plaque is built up from sugar. They always thought it was the fat.
Yeah,
it's the
that's all I've
sugar
heard.
that helps. It's just like the plaque on your teeth. That's from the sugar, and the bacteria that builds up. So basically, I eat like the Mediterranean diet. It's predominantly protein and vegetables. When I want carbs and I feel my body needs it, I have more rice or baked potato or yam or pasta. If I feel I just want protein and green vegetables, I'll eat that for days. And then sometimes I want larger portions. I listen to my body. That's what you have to do. Instead of saying, oh, I read this article, you should eat this many eggs. I eat whole eggs. I've always eaten whole eggs. It's a complete protein. You need that fat to properly absorb the protein in the egg. And there's also good things in that yolk. So I always believe like this in the morning. I have my oatmeal, and I use alkaline water when I make it.
I'm a fan of alkaline water.
Very good for lowering the acid level in your body. Acid is the breeding ground of disease. And then I put some toasted almonds on there, and I put some cinnamon, and I have this blend of egg white, whey, and beef protein. It's absolutely delicious, and it's just makes it thick and creamy. And I have that with a double espresso. An hour and a half later, I'm hitting the gym like a beast.
Nice.
And I got all the ingredients I need. And right after that, I have a big piece of fish, some maybe steamed asparagus, a nice green salad with oil and vinegar. And then that night, I may feel like having a baked potato, some spinach, and a juicy porterhouse, rare. That's how I eat. I eat all the time like that. I don't change it. My weight's been 175 pounds for 35 years.
You are in shape. I thought,
I thought you. I mean, I'm not training to get bigger.
Right, no,
but,
for sure.
But my weight hasn't changed.
Okay.
And I haven't changed a thing. So that's what I'm saying. I keep doing what works for me, but I always take that time out to take the beat to come because I'm very aggressive all the time. Just this way. That's my personality anyway. But my testosterone level, the doctor said it's abnormally high normally. So it's not like I'm going through that depression of low testosterone like some people do.
Hey, thankfully, we good.
But also, too, I am religious with my blood test. Every 6 months, I make sure vitamin D3, DHEA, calcium, magnesium. I make sure my cholesterol, thyroid, everything is in tune. So the vitamins I take is what I formulate. I get my little Ziploc packs, and I take the dosage to make sure my levels are fine. Not because it says on the bottle, take 3 a day.
Right.
I go by what the milligrams, and I test my blood, and I know what my level is. Everything I take right now, when the doctor does my blood test, he goes, if I didn't know you're 68 years old, I would say you're 20 years old.
Good stuff.
But that's because I use blood work as my roadmap. I tell everybody. When I used to train all these celebrities, I'd make it mandatory. We have to have blood tests.
No, I do mine once a year. I got to do mine next week.
Right, but
shout out to the VA. Y'all keep me updated, man. Like,
right.
I do it once a year. I've been doing it since I moved here. Same thing. Literally, when I first started, I was like, oh my God, like it's like 100 different things on there. They tell me about this is good, this is good. Like most is good, but they're like, this might need whatever. But like you said, you can isolate it. As soon as you get the blood work back, you can literally isolate exactly what you need to be doing to improve.
Yeah, that's it. But listen, Got to thank you for coming on, man. It was beautiful.
Thanks for having me.
Such a
This is
great
great,
time.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode. Got great news. The merch is ready. You're going to see an array of all kinds of great products. Go to operationfitness.com. If you want to order anything, click on my store. Thanks for your support.